You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
This is episode 147 of the Wisdom by WESA show on the Horse Radio Network. This is Mike Donnell.
I'm Casey Wilbanks.
And this is Sofia Yagela. Welcome to Wisdom by WESA on the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
This podcast is brought to you by the Western and English Sales Association, WESA, which provides the world's largest trade events for retailers, manufacturers, and sales representatives of the equestrian industry. In this podcast, we feature exclusive interviews with noteworthy Western and English personalities, retailers, and exhibitors who you've always wanted to talk to. Don't miss out on all the news from manufacturers and retailers in the equine industry. Sophia, the board meeting has just wrapped up, and WESA has a new president. Catch us up with all these latest announcements.
Yes, so the board has approved our new projects, which means we have some exciting updates. So first of all, we can now offer sponsorships to contracted WESA exhibitors. Those sponsorships range from hosting parties over sponsoring the WESA Social Arena to branded giveaways. Exhibitors had asked for these options, so we're really excited to finally actually offer these opportunities to them. Another update is that we are updating our floor plan layout to be more dynamic and easier to understand. And I talked with Jeff, our trade show manager, to kind of get his opinion about the new plan, since he's the one working with it the most. And he said that our refreshed floor plan optimizes space, improves traffic flow, and offers flexible booth sizes, all while keeping the layout retailers know and love.
So the new flow will be easier to get to these new and improved parties. Anything new for the buyers?
Yes, the buyer badges will now be digital and not sent out by mail anymore. So that's a big update. We're so excited to finally offer buyers a quicker solution after having very long wait lines at each and every show. And just FYI, the food and valet vouchers will still be mailed out, but only if you are one of the early birds and pre-register. And more updates will be announced via email, social media, or on the next podcast episode. So stay tuned.
Michael Anderson already has a full plate. He's an active sales representative for several leading Western brands, and along with his family, operates 2 Western stores in Kansas. Nevertheless, he recently assumed the role of president of WESA. Today, he joins the podcast to chat about his multiple roles in the Western industry and the directions he foresees for WESA. Michael Anderson, thank you for taking the time to join us on the Wisdom by WESA show, and congratulations on yet a third job. As we know, you are a rep for some very good brands. We know you're in the retail business, but I guess that didn't take enough of your time, so you opted to put your name in the hat to be president of WESA. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
It's a very important job. Let's chat a little bit about your life in the Western world prior to becoming president, and then we're going to talk about WESA and the Western world after you become president. How's that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Okay, I've read some stories. I'm not sure our audience has, but they'll want to know a bit about you and what your background was. So let's talk about your role in the retail world, in the rep world, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, it's about going on 34 years now. I've been in this industry. I started out working retail when I was in college at the University of Oklahoma. Started working for a small mom and pop Western store and worked my way up there to a management position. And I got the opportunity, about 7 or 8 years later, to go on the road for some companies. And I went on the road, did some traveling for independent. And so it's kind of in my blood. I love retail. And as you just mentioned, I actually do now own and operate two locations, a Western store here in Kansas. And my family runs it with me. And so you're right. I'm wearing multiple hats.
Well, and let's talk a bit about the rep business, too, and how you got into that and what you're doing with that now.
Well, it's kind of funny because what I was doing is at the time, I was actually a sales manager for Olathe Boot Company down in South Texas. And I got a phone call from one of my previous accounts up in Kansas where I used to travel when I first started working the road. And they called me And the little lady that owned the store said, "Hey, Panhandle Slim is looking for a rep." So I made the phone call, got the interview place, got into town, Fort Worth, left with the job, and basically history. Here we go. I am now been on the road with Panhandle Slim since 2007. I absolutely love it. What I like about what I do in this industry is I go visit friends. That's what I do. I go see friends. It's awesome.
Well, I think it's wonderful. Now, how long have you been associated with WESA?
Almost since 2000. Well, I've been a member of WESA since probably, let's see, I want to go way back here. Probably 1997 is about, I think it was when I went to work, when I was actually joined WESA as a member, because I was working for a Lathe Boot Company at the time. I actually joined the board. I ran for the board. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. I've been on the board probably 15 plus years.
And now's your turn to become the leader of the organization. And I want to talk a bit about that. But where do you see WESA going, and where do you see the industry going, and how do you hope to guide WESA through that over the next year?
Well, to be honest, I'm super excited. I mean, we came off of multiple shows in a row. They're absolutely fantastic. To be honest, I think WESA is the largest, the biggest, best Western show in the world. So right now, the sky's the limit when it comes to the actual show, the market. We've got great membership. And for that part of it, I'm super excited about it. Going forward, we're working really well with the Dallas Market Center. As you know, it is the premier spot. It's the premier place to go if you want to go shop for your store. So it's a perfect partnership for both of us.
Well, and we've been doing this show now for 5 years. And every year you've added more marketing ideas and more touch points with the industry than just the shows. The shows are critical. We understand that. And we're proud that we've been doing this for 5 years as one of the touch points. But you now have relationships with Youth Rodeo. You are now expanding some marketing things you're doing at the show itself. Talk a bit about where you see WESA and the industry going in terms of communications to and on behalf of those people in the Western industry.
That's kind of a two-prong effect there. Sophia's doing an absolutely incredible job marketing inside during the show, outside the show, getting all our buyers out there, because we've got a huge amount of buyers all over the world now. It used to think it was just USA, but now we're international, and she's doing an incredible job with that. And you're talking about the youth movement and stuff we're doing with the different groups. We've been donating, and we actually donate 100% of our profits from what we do. We call it's a golf tournament. It used to be an actual golf tournament, but we moved to Dallas in August now, and it's awful hot in Dallas in August. So playing golf was a little bit different. So what we did is now we're doing a top golf tournament, and every year we give National Little Bridges Rodeo Association. We give them approximately, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year. We give 100% of our proceeds right back to them, and so it's absolutely incredible what we can do to give back to our organizations. We sponsor a scholarship with the FFA. We do tons of stuff like that to help all these youth organizations, which are very important to what I believe the Western industry and the Western lifestyle. So we want the youth to grow up understanding that hopefully they want to stay in this kind of industry, either if it's ag, if it's in retail sales, if it's in wholesale marketing, whatever you want to do it, stay in this industry. And that's what we're really, really, really pushing.
Wanted to mention a full circle there. When I was a little girl, I went to the Little Britches rodeos, and every year the Little Britches finals. And 2 years ago, I was lucky enough, or should I say my team was unlucky enough, that Sophia asked me to join the Top Golf. And I just thought, how cool is it? Just like you said, all these years I was started in this industry, and it's evolved in so many different ways. Here I am with WESA now, and you couldn't have depicted that any better.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's absolutely incredible what we've done and the relationships we've made. Again, and more friends. It's more friends that we've found out there that are not just retailers or such. We're finding friends outside of like kind of a big tent, big family. So it's awesome.
You mentioned something that I think is interesting, and I'd like to get your views on how and why that happens. And that's the growth in the international aspect of WESA and the Western business. Now, you've been on the board for a long time. You've been a member for a long time. My guess is when you started out, there really wasn't an international footprint either by WESA or for the industry. What do you think is driving that?
I think the one thing is the vendors that are coming and showing at our shows. They're growing exponentially. We're also bringing people from now Europe and other areas as well, Europe, Australia. They're actually bringing in their brands. So their brands are coming to us to show, to sell. So not only so when they come, they bring their own customers with them as well, but they're also trying to get that American market. So I think it's just a big giant, I don't know, snowball effect, basically. Just as soon as it starts rolling down this hill, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's incredible the amount of people from South America, Australia, Asia, Europe, as I said before. I mean, we're getting people from everywhere. And I won't forget Canada or Mexico, because by golly, they come too, and they come in force.
So, okay, let's move on to something else. And Casey can join in here as well. You came out of OU, which, by the way, some good basketball at OU this year.
Yep.
And then you, at some point in time, decided to get into retail. I don't believe the family was in retail when you came out. So talk to us a bit, because let's face it, there's the manufacturer side, there's the retailer side. You actually see from both sides, but chat a bit about how the family, the Anderson family, ended up or decided that you wanted to be retailers.
Well, it's one of those, once I started doing it in college, it kind of got in my blood. I enjoy it. Me, I enjoy it. Some people don't, but retail I love it. I actually like it. I like it a lot. And what happened is we were in the process of, my wife and I was just visiting, going back and forth of, basically brainstorming. What do we want to do? What do we want to do different? And we started looking around where I'm traveling, my territory. I've traveled 4 states here in the Midwest. Just to let you guys know, I travel Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa. So I got a big square. And I'm looking we said, you know what? Why don't we do a Western store? I would love to have my own Western store. Just would love to try it. And we started looking. And for me, Kansas and Missouri was pretty much my map that I wanted to be in, somewhere like that. Missouri has Western stores everywhere. There's fantastic Western stores in almost every good-sized town in Missouri. It's incredible. Kansas is a little spread out. So there was like a hole in the middle of Kansas where there's really no representation, because you had some stores in Wichita, and then you had some stores in the Northeast, then you had stores out west, great stores out west. But right here in central Kansas, where I'm at, there was really no Western store. So we started looking. My wife and I spent about 5 days visiting with Chamber of Commerces and such, and we started looking at properties. And to be honest, by accident, we ended up eating breakfast in this town called McPherson, Kansas. 15,000 people, and just by happen chance, on a Sunday after breakfast, I said, let's go downtown and look at it. There's a for rent sign in a window on the corner of Kansas and Maine, the main corner of the building, and main corner of the downtown. And I made the phone call on a Sunday morning. The little lady picks up, said, I can be there in 15 minutes. The rest is history. My wife and I looked at each other while we're sitting there in that store, walking around this empty building. And I said, what do you think? And she goes, I think we're moving here. And bam, here we are. We opened in 2010. So we're 15 years old. It's been an incredible journey. Now, my daughter is actually she's running my store in McPherson, Kansas. She's my ladies buyer who's doing a phenomenal job. So now I've got another generation coming up underneath me, which is incredible.
So from your years as a rep, has that influenced at all how you've gone about the retail business?
Yes, it has. To be honest, what's so incredible about what I do, and this, again, it's almost like the family of the Western industry, the family. I've had so many accounts of mine. Basically, they were advisors. They were giving me great ideas. Hey, Michael, what about this? What do you got? We're doing great with this. What do you think? And now that I'm in business, I share that back and forth. I share that with all my customers. I say, hey guys, I am selling this brand exponentially phenomenal. You guys should check it out. And vice versa. They do the same thing with me. So for me, it's just a big big giant back and forth between all my friends that are happen to be retailers, and I got friends that are sales reps, and they share ideas, and so it's just phenomenal. This industry, I get excited when we start talking about this industry because I love it. It's given back to me 400-fold. It's awesome.
Well, and I think enthusiasm is going to be a major asset for you as you lead WESA. Everyone wants to see an enthusiastic leader at the top who's optimistic, who supports what's going on business-wise, financially, philosophically. But for your term in office, do you have any particular objectives that you'd like to see WESA reach while you're under your presidency?
Well, I definitely want to see the number of buyers grow. That's always one of our first goals. That's always number one because it's like was it the chicken before the egg, the egg before the chicken? Because you need buyers, and buyers are like, well, we need vendors. So you do need both. So I definitely want to grow on both ends of that. I would love to see our show so big that I've got a waiting list 50 companies long trying to get into our show because we are booked solid. We don't have 10 foot anywhere that we can put anybody. It's like not possible. That is a goal that I would love to see in my 2 years. I also want to see the number of buyers go up. Our relationship with Dallas is fantastic. I'll just be honest, it's incredible. Their venue, again, I could talk about it over and over. It's just the best venue. I've had buyers come to me and say, "God, we absolutely love the fact that this move was made when it was made. They can now come in and it's easy for them to shop 15 floors. It's awesome." So for me, it's grow my buyers, which is what we're doing. We're seeing it from all over the states. We're seeing multiple states grow in number of buyers that are coming, and then more and more vendors. It's key because you got to have one to have the other, and you got to have the other to have the one. It's back and forth. You actually have to have them both. And so for me, that's exciting. That's exciting.
There's so many things in our world now that do not stay with longevity, but WESA has the staying power and continues to do so. I know you guys are making some changes. Sophia is obviously greatly contributing to that, but specific insight from you, what makes WESA have that staying power?
I think a lot of it is the actual membership. We are member run. So an independent sales rep has the same voting power as a company executive that owns a big manufacturer. They're on equal footing. So that is something that's very important for us and our industry and our group, that we all have a say-so in what we do. So it's one of those, a sales rep can come to me and give me his insights or her insights, and a company executive can give the same to me, can come to me and talk to me about what they would like to see or what they don't like or whatever. And it both actually has the same exact amount of weight, which is very important because what sometimes you see is these organizations lose the touch. And the touch is absolutely incredibly important because it needs to be known that we care about all our membership, and our membership is the key and the core of what we are. And so for me, that's very important. And I know all my membership, which is salesmen and executives, we all believe at the same time that our customers are number one. So it's kind of, again, a back and forth deal. It's I don't know. It's very,
Sure.
very, very, very important.
Yeah. Well, I can say Wes, saying that kind of an umbrella statement there, Wes has a very down home feel, no matter what you're doing. And Mike and I, we've both visited. It's different in Dallas. I love Dallas. Of course, I love Denver because it's in my backyard, but I enjoyed the trip to Dallas. The Dallas Market Center is absolutely amazing. And the vibe, the general all-around vibe, as you mentioned earlier, friends and family, you're doing business, but it is a very welcoming, enjoyable, good time. And you guys still have that personal touch that we've lost so much in our world. But we're handshakes, and I say that lightly, but handshake deals and face-to-face interaction is still very much going strong.
Well, not only that, you'll see fellow retailers when you're talking about the family part. You'll see a retailer from one town in Nebraska and then 75 miles away, another town in Nebraska. And they will actually be sitting down there at a table somewhere, having a great conversation back and forth. Again, sharing ideas. We're just majority of our customers and our members want to share ideas between each other. So
Sure.
it's very, very, very important, and it's very nice to see, just like you said.
Yeah.
The staying power, the personality, the personal part of it. When you said handshake, just to be honest, I'm a hugger.
Oh, there you go.
When you see me work and I'm done with my customer, guess what I'm doing? I'm giving them a
Okay.
hug before I send them out the door. So that's something you don't see
Yeah.
in Main Street USA or
You
in
don't.
corporate America. You don't see two corporate guys give each other a
No.
hug. That don't
Nope.
happen. But
Nope.
it happens in our industry all the time.
Yeah.
I
Mike,
walk up to a sales rep and, in January, it's Happy New Year. And guess what? I'm giving you a hug. That's what's going to happen.
see,
So
Mike, if I
it's
talk
awesome.
you into going, if I talk Mike into going in August, you're getting a hug from Michael. So be prepared.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
Final question for you as the head of what's the flagship association in the Western industry. What do you see as the industries, whether you're a retailer or a brand or a salesperson, what do you see as the greatest opportunities and the greatest challenges that the Western industry faces?
The opportunities I believe that the Western industry is extremely strong. You're seeing this in mainstream. You're seeing people, you're seeing actors and professional athletes and stuff. You're seeing them starting to wear Western apparel again. You're seeing, guys on ESPN wearing a bolo tie and a buckle. That was never possible. You didn't see that 10, 15 years ago, ever. You're seeing that stuff now. You're seeing the mainstream starting to go our direction. Some of the obstacles are going to be the mom and pops have a very hard, tough road to hoe. And I'm a big mom and pop fan, just to be honest, on stores. I love them because I'm one of them. But I know that we'd have a very hard road to play because we're competing with these big box stores now, and especially these larger farm stores that are out there. So that's going to be something that's kind of a headwind, that's kind of going back and forth. I also see our industry changing just a little bit. And when I say that, it's the buyer part of it. You're seeing more professional buyers now that buy for multiple doors, a big chain comes in and this one individual buys men's Western wear for their entire business. So they're probably buying for 18, 20, maybe 75 doors. It's huge, crazy when you think about that. So you're seeing more professional buyers now, which are more, I guess they're focused on certain items, certain genres, whatever they're in. Mom and pop would come in and they'd come to that market and they'd buy everything. They'd buy men's, ladies, boots, children's. I mean, you name it, tack. They were buying everything. A husband and wife are coming in and they were doing all the shopping for their store. Now a company comes in and they have 6 or 7, 8 buyers that are all going off and doing their one thing. One's buying men's, one's buying ladies, one's buying footwear. And so you're seeing a lot more specialization, which is very important to them. And they're using the technology now to be able to track what they're doing. They know which direction they're going. They know what they want to do going forward. So you're seeing a lot of stuff that's changing, which is positive, very positive in most ways. And at the same time, again, I'm going to do all I can to help my mom and pops. I really am. I'm going to do everything I can. So I'm going to share all my information with my mom and pops just as much as I do with my corporate buyers.
Well said. And I thank you for taking the time early in your presidency. Maybe you'll come back at some point and report back to us on how all those things are going. I'm sure our listeners would be interested in that. But as you start off, we thank you for taking time early in your presidency to talk to us and all our listeners on Wisdom by WESA.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to be back on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The show notes and links from today's show can be found at wisdombywesa.com. And if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. There is a contact link on that website.
The Wisdom by WESA show will be published on the 15th and 30th of every month. You can listen on most of your favorite podcast players, and you can also listen on wisdombywesa.com. Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. WESA, where the industry meets.